You think you only have two options: keep doing work that's quietly draining you, or blow it all up and start completely over. But that's not true. After 50, there's a third path, and almost nobody thinks about it. You're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience, and those are not the same thing. Starting from scratch means you have nothing. Starting from experience means you're carrying decades of it. And the real work of this season isn't rebuilding. It's deciding what to carry forward and what you finally get to set down. Because for a lot of women, work was never just work. It was your identity, your usefulness, the place people needed you, depended on you, and trusted you, and expected you to know what to do. So when it starts to shift, it doesn't feel like updating a resume. It feels like a part of you is being questioned. So if the word work feels complicated right now, stay with me, because the question we're about to sit with isn't what job should I do? It's a better one, and it'll change your perspective. I'm Dr. Linda, retired educator and nonprofit leader, and I help women over 50 build a meaningful next chapter without burning down everything they've spent decades building. A woman can be very accomplished and still feel unsure about what comes next. She can have decades of experience and still wonder whether any of it matters in this new season. And she can be close to retirement and feel both ready and afraid. She can want extra income and still know deep down that she does not want to build a life that exhausts her all over again. And she can want meaningful work without wanting to prove herself in the way she did at 35. That point is important because a lot of advice about work assumes you're trying to climb the ladder, build the brand, scale the business. But many women after 50 are not asking, how do I climb higher? They're asking, how do I build a life I can actually enjoy? And that's a different question that deserves a different kind of answer. I understand this personally. When I retired from education, I wasn't just leaving a job. I was leaving a rhythm and a professional identity that had shaped decades of my life. For years, I knew exactly what I was responsible for and who needed me. I knew the problems I was supposed to help solve. I knew the calendar, the expectations, and the role. And I knew what my day would look like every day. And then retirement came. And 1 month later, breast cancer entered the picture. So the question, what comes next, did not arrive in a neat, inspiring way. It was not a clean, blank page with soft music playing in the background. It was much messier than that. It touched everything at once. My body, my emotions, the practical parts of daily life, even the deeper questions about who I was becoming. Nothing about it felt neat or clearly defined. And I found myself sitting with questions I'd once helped other people think through. Only now, they were mine to answer. I had to ask myself, who am I when I'm no longer in that role? What do I want to contribute? What kind of work actually fits who I am now? What do I have the energy for? And just as important, what do I not want to rebuild? And what do I understand now that I didn't know when I was younger? Those questions did not come all at once, and the answers did not come all at once either. But looking back, I can see something clearly. The question was never, how do I start over? The better question was, how do I carry forward what still matters and release what no longer fits? This is where many women tend to feel stuck. They think their choices are either keep doing what they've always done or throw everything away and become someone entirely different. But there's a middle path, the one where you keep what still fits and let go of what doesn't. And you don't have to erase everything you've done just to rethink what comes next. You don't have to give up your peace just to create income. You don't have to push yourself back into burnout just to use the skills you've spent years building. There are ways to contribute without being constantly available, ways to build something meaningful without feeling like you have to prove yourself all over again. That's why I want to be careful with the word career, because for some women, this next chapter will include a career pivot. For others, it may be consulting, mentoring, part-time work, volunteering or caregiving, or creative work, a small business, or simply a different relationship with responsibility. For some, it may mean earning an income. For others, it may mean protecting time. For many, it will be some combination of both. So instead of asking, what job should I do now? I want you to ask a better question. What role should work play in the life I'm building now? That question shifts everything, because when you ask, what job should I do? You may immediately feel pressure. You start thinking about qualifications, age, technology, and whether anyone will take you seriously. But when you ask, what role should work play in my life now? You create space. You can start to see work as just part of your life, not the whole thing. If you're a woman over 50 trying to figure out what's next, that's exactly why I created this channel. Every week we talk about confidence, purpose, relationships, and creating a meaningful next chapter. If that sounds like something you need right now, subscribe and join us. Now, if you're rethinking work after 50, there are a few areas I want you to pay attention to, not as a rigid formula, but as places to begin. One place to begin is your energy. Don't overlook this, and don't just ask, can I do this? The better question may be, can I do this in a way that honors the season of my life I'm actually in? Because you may be capable of doing many things that no longer fit your body, your nervous system, your family season, your health, your marriage, priorities, your peace. Capability is not the same as alignment. You may be capable of running the whole thing, and you probably are, but that does not mean you should. You may be capable of managing everyone's crisis, and you probably are, but that doesn't mean it's your assignment. And you may be capable of building a business that requires you to be online all day, every day, and you probably are, but that does not mean it's the life you want. After 50, one of the wisest questions you can ask is, what does this opportunity require from me? Look beyond what it pays, how impressive it sounds, or whether others think it's a good idea. Ask yourself what it will actually require of you. Will it take evenings you'd rather keep? Will it draw on emotional energy you no longer want to spend? Will it pull you back into being available to everyone again? Will it ask you to learn things you're genuinely open to, or things you already sense you'll resent? And in the end, will it give you more freedom or quietly build another kind of cage? I think we need to be honest about it, because many women after 50 are not afraid of work. They are afraid of building another life where everyone else gets the best of them and they get what's left over. Another place to begin is contribution. Ask yourself where you still want to be useful and not needed in a way that drains you, not responsible for everything and not indispensable to the point of exhaustion. Useful. There's a difference. Being needed sounds like love, but it can quietly turn into a trap. Being useful is different. You give from your strength and not from your exhaustion. Maybe you're thinking about mentoring or teaching or creating something of your own. Maybe you love to help younger women avoid some of the hard lessons you had to learn. Or maybe you just want to use some of your experience in a way that feels lighter and more flexible than it used to. You might feel drawn to serving your community or building something that's yours. You might still want to work with people, just not manage them. You may want to offer advice without being on call all the time, and you might want to contribute but not carry everything on your shoulders. And that difference really does matter, because when women say, I don't know what I want to do next, sometimes what they really mean is, I don't know how to contribute without being consumed. And that's a very different problem, and it deserves a more honest answer. Another place to look is income. I want to say this carefully, because this channel is not a finance channel, but money matters. Income matters. Security matters and options matter. For many women, the question of work after 50 is connected to money. Maybe retirement savings are not where you hoped they would be. Maybe life changed. Maybe divorce, illness, caregiving, loss of your job, or your family needs change the picture. Maybe you simply want more breathing room. There's no shame in wanting income. Wanting security, options, and breathing room doesn't make you greedy. It makes you a grown woman with bills and a future. And if you spent your years at home raising children, running a household, and holding a family together, hear me on this, you've been creating value the entire time. It just never came with a paycheck. So if part of you wants a little income or your own now, that isn't about you proving your worth. You proved that a long time ago. It's about options that are finally yours. The issue is not whether income matters. The issue is whether the income path you choose actually supports the life you're trying to build. Some income gives you options. Some income steals the very peace you are trying to create. And that's why we're going to talk more in the next few videos about skills, income, side hustles, and opportunity traps. Because I do not want you chasing something just because it's available. I want you to choose something because it fits. And finally, I want you to look at identity. This may be the deepest part. Ask yourself, who am I when I'm not proving my value through work? That question can be uncomfortable, especially for women who've been responsible, capable, and strong for decades. If people have always known you as one of those who gets things done, stepping into a different relationship with work can feel strange. You may feel guilty for wanting less pressure. You may feel nervous about wanting something new. And you may feel embarrassed that you still want to be seen, respected, or useful. You may feel conflicted because part of you wants rest and another part of you wants purpose. This isn't a sign you've lost your footing. It's just what the in-between feels like. And the in-between always feels messier than you expect. So if work no longer fits the way it used to, try not to rush to solve it too quickly. Begin by telling the truth. Maybe the old pace or role no longer fits. Maybe the old definition of success and the amount of responsibility no longer fits. That honesty is information. And once you have better information, you can make better decisions. Now, if you watch my videos, you know I'm not going to let you just watch this and go back to your week. So here's your challenge for this week. Take out a piece of paper and write these 4 questions. What kind of work gives me energy now? What kind of work drains me faster than it used to? What do I still want to contribute? And what do I no longer want to carry? Don't turn this into a full plan. Just answer honestly. You're not trying to solve the next 10 years in one sitting. You're listening for what your life is already trying to tell you. And if you're willing, I would love for you to share one sentence in the comments. Work used to mean blank, but now I want it to mean blank. You can make that as simple as you want. Work used to mean responsibility, but now I want it to mean freedom. Work used to mean proving myself, but now I want it to mean contribution. It used to mean being needed, but now I want it to mean using what I know. That one sentence can tell you a lot. And if you want help thinking through your next chapter, download the free Reinvention Roadmap. I'll put the link in the description below. It will help you begin sorting through where you are and what your next small step could look like. Because you do not have to burn down your whole life to build something more honest. You do not have to start over to move forward. In the next video, we're going to take this one step further. Before you start looking for a new job, a side hustle, a business idea, or another income opportunity, it helps to pause and take a look at what you already carry, because you may be sitting on experience, skills, wisdom, and problem-solving ability that you've completely overlooked. So next time, we're going to talk about the experience you're already sitting on and how it can become your next opportunity. This chapter of life isn't about becoming who you used to be. It's about becoming who you're meant to be now. I'm Dr. Linda. and I'll see you in the next video.